Hi everyone, this is Gavin from gavinsgadgets.com. Hope you're keeping well. And today I'm going to do something quite special and review the new Asus Zenfone 3 Zoom. And this is quite a nice looking device, and it's got these dual lenses with optical zoom. So it's available, just looking at my notes here, in 3 different colours. This is the black, it's silver, and there's a pink as well. They have different storage options. This is the 32 gig, 3 gig. There is a 4 gig, 64 gig, but to be honest, this works just fine. You get also 100 gigs worth of Google Drive space. Size-wise, you can see it's a fairly decent size, got a nice screen as well, but I'll do a close-up of this so you can see this in a bit more detail. It's a 5.5-inch display, it's a 1080p, it's got Gorilla Glass 5, which is quite good for a phone at this price, and that is quite nice. It's got a fairly slim bezel, it does the blue light filter as well, and it's got a 10-finger capacitive touch and an oliphobic coating. You know, some of the flagships have been out without oliphobic coatings, but this definitely does have it. It's got a decent 625 Snapdragon processor and the Adreno 506 GPU. And what that means is, with its 5000 milliamp battery, it's just epic in terms of battery life. You can not worry about charging this for a good couple of days. The actual camera tech, which you've got here, it's the Asus Super Pixel technology for 2.5 times more light sensitivity compared to the iPhone 7 Plus. It's a 12 megapixel. The main sensor is a 12 megapixel f1.7. That's a Sony IMX362 sensor. It's a 1 / 2.55 inch sensor, a 1.4 pixel size. Focal length is 25mm, a 6-piece lens, 82-degree field of view, 3-axis electronic image stabilization, and 4-axis 4-stops optical image stabilization. Does 4K at 30 frames per second. It's got a color RGB sensor as well, dual LED real tone flash, and also has what they call it Asus exclusive Tritech autofocus system with 0.03 instant focus. And I've got a camera showcase coming up later where I was photographing my dogs running, and the crazy part about that was every single shot, and I used the faster burst mode, and that was in focus. And I thought, well, it'd be a few blurry ones. There wasn't a single one, so I had to just pick a few, but they're all exactly the same as the ones you're seeing when they come up a bit later. It's got a 2nd generation laser focus, which gives 3 times the distance, and you can also have subject tracking autofocus of both photos and videos. I actually didn't even use that when I was taking my dog, so that's even more impressive. On the zoom lens, the first one, that's just a standard, but on the zoom lens it's also 12 megapixel, 12 times total zoom, 2.3 times optical zoom, focal length is 59mm, and that's a 5-piece lens. There are so many camera modes, but I shall go into that. But there's everything from panorama, slow motion, even slow motion on the front as well, time lapse, beautification, super resolution, which is really good, manual, auto, HDR auto, loads and loads of different options available, and quite impressive, to be honest. So you've got loads and loads of options. Just seeing what else we can pick up. The front facing camera is 13 megapixels. Again, it's a Sony sensor. It's an f2.0 aperture and a decent size there. Again, that's got loads of different modes, including slow motion video on the front camera. Pretty cool. The speaker is a 5-magnet speaker system with NXP smart amp for up to 4 times better performance. Audio is high res at 192 kilohertz to 24-bit. It's got DTS, the headphone support. That does sound quite good, but even without it, it's still quite a nice thing. It's got an FM radio, all your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Dual SIM, but one SIM card. It can either be the micro SD or the second SIM. They're both nano SIMs. Both SIM cards support 3G and 4G LTE, but only one can connect to the 3G or 4G at any one time, and it's got loads of different networks on it. But all in all, it's a nice phone. You've got sensors from the accelerometer, e-compass gyroscope, proximity sensor, ambient light sensor, RGB sensor, IR sensor, and fingerprint. So it's really quite a nice piece of kit. Does have USB Type-C and reverse charging as well. So you can use this Hello, this is Fury, my black lab. So you can use this, I believe, to charge other devices. But it's just great, and they have all the Asus selection of Asus apps, which are quite useful. But let's go and check this out in more detail. Okay, so just to show you quickly, in the box, you did get some of the usual. You got the SIM removal trays, bits and pieces. You got this silicone case, which is really quite nice, and in here you've got the headphones Type-C adapter power brick, box to box in my mind. If you take a look at the phone, it has the fingerprint sensor on the back, which works really well. Actually, just bring that a bit nearer. It's a really nice screen. You've got the quick settings here, nice and easy to use. I might drop the brightness down a little bit there. You can do many things. You've got Bluetooth. You've got the audio wizard, which allows you to change the different modes as well, which is the DTS. This works surprisingly loud. It does go quite loud. So if you put outdoor on there for a second, and if I go to play, let's have a look at no thanks, browse. Just going to pick some pop classical, and we'll give you an idea of the speaker so you can hear how it sounds. It's very loud, as you can hear. You're no trouble hearing that outside. Also has different headphone modes, and you plug headphones in as well. Some of the other options that you get, you've got dual SIM cards. You can do all the tethering, play to the various media selections. Display, you can obviously adjust the display as well, so you can turn the LED off. The color mode, this is the super color mode, and you can see you've got the blue light filter. You can adjust that and the intensity. And you can do the customize, where you can do the hue and the saturation to your heart's content. Very, very straightforward, works really well. Sound and notification, very straightforward again. And you've got various bits and pieces there. Do not disturb, so you can do that. And you can have it on a schedule as well. There's various Zen motions, so you've got touch gestures. So you can see double tap to turn the screen, double tap to turn it off, swipe up to wake up, and all the different camera launches. Again, very useful. Motion gestures, one-handed modes in there as well. The power management, the power saver's got really neat little tricks. So it's going to say on my current setup, it's 20 days. You've got performance mode, normal, and here you can switch to super saving when the battery is 10%, and also switch to a different power saving mode. And I've set mine between 11 and 6 AM. That's really handy. Again, it's got such a big battery, you really shouldn't need to worry about things like that, but it just means you can stretch out and actually keep that going much further. There's also Genie game setting page as well for setting the adjustments there, and again you can record, connect to a YouTube Twitch account. There's so many different things. It's such a good phone in that respect. But the bit you really want to see, I know guys, is the camera. So let's just put something a bit more interesting. Let's go back to the camera. Right, bear with me a second. Let me see that. Right, so you've got the flash, different modes for flash. I tend to use flash off. You can switch between the front and the selfie camera. HDR off, HDR on, HDR auto. In the settings, you can adjust the white balance. You can do ISO. There's quite a large range of the ISO. We're up to 12,800. Exposure, you've got various optimizations it can do as well. Camera resolution, image quality, timestamp, touch shutter, focus mode. So you can have various focus modes there. Sensor weighted, face detection, white balance on the video, exposure, video quality, does 4K as you can see. Here's some of the other options you've got. Video preference, you can adjust the quality on that. Touch auto exposure, you can have that as well for the video. Smart brightness review, burst review. As you can see, it's got a number of different settings and a lot of options there. So and you can jump to the different bits straight away within that as well. You also have manual mode, HDR Pro, beautification, super resolution, which is really good, children, QR code, night, depth of field, effects, selfie, GIF animation, panorama, miniature, time rewind, smart remove, all smart slow motion. But the nice thing is that it gives you the manual straight from here. So if you tap on the manual, and here you've got your histogram, exposure, and you can see all the different ISOs and the settings. I was using this to do manual focus previously, but you can put that back in auto. On the speed, you can go as slow as 32 seconds, or as I say, as long as 32 seconds, and you can go all the way to the other end, really fast, 16,000 speed as well. And the white balance, again, you've got the really decent control on the white balance, and then you can just hit one button to reset everything. It's got the horizontal measure to show you when you're level as well, and then you can just jump straight back to auto. So it works really, really well. And I will have some camera samples coming up. So that's that. In terms of the UI, this is a default skin, and what you can do, if I just push and hold on here, you can adjust icons, you can adjust apps, widgets, all different things, and you can even take a screenshot of your particular setup as well. You can even adjust the icon size, so here you can make them smaller, you can make them bigger, icon alignment, so you can have them top, bottom, depending on how you're doing it. Scroll effects, there's different ones that you can have, card flips as well, so it's all pretty good stuff. In terms of the actual phone, you've got the volume buttons, power button, fingerprint sensor, your RGB sensor, your dual tone flash, your two cameras there as well. SIM tray goes there with the pin, USB Type C, and this is screwed in, so it's a solid piece of phone. You've got also nice on the bottom, you have the headphone jacks, the right position in my mind, and there is just the microphones on the top and the bottom. So it is a really nice piece of kit. So anyway, let's go and check out some nice camera samples. Okay, so now we're doing 4K and seeing how well it stabilizes. Obviously I can't hold this straight, steady I should say. You hear the road noise. It'll be interesting to see how that's picked up the motorbikes going up the road. We've got the sun right ahead of us, so that's not particularly good, but just want to see how that works in terms of doing the sun. It's not too bad on the screen, how it changes lights, go across and then come back the other way. You have the sun facing behind us in a second, like now it's on the back of my head, so now you can see the difference. The sun's in the right place for shooting video, just to give you some idea of how this actually looks. I'll just walk, show you a bit longer and so forth, and I'll do some low light in a minute. Okay, we're now inside. This is 4K, just seeing how well it copes in low light, handheld, no gimbals or anything, no stabilizers. There you go. Okay, this is another test, 4K, just testing the panning motion to see what this is like, give you an idea of the actual footage. Now I can't see, I'll try if I can zoom in. I can zoom in here, give you some idea of the zoom quality. Take that down, that's 2.1 zoom, 3, 4.3 and 5. I'll just pan at 5 so you can see this is quad HD. You can take it back down to 0 to no zoom. You can see footage. There we have it. Okay, so testing out the front facing camera, handheld, and this is in the maximum resolution possible, just to give you an idea of the quality. Got the sun, it's quite bright at the moment. You can see as I move around what the focus is like. Okay, so this is handheld, front facing, maximum resolution, lighting, very bright lights, and you can see how it affects the recording. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed both the video and the photo still samples from this Asus Zenfone Zoom. I really like this phone. It's got a lot going for it. The hardware looks really nice. I just wish more companies would put, 4,000 plus 5,000 milliamp batteries in this case, because the difference is just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous how great it is to actually have such a big battery in a phone. The camera, so as you can see from some of the shots, some really cracking shots there. When you pixel peep very closely, because it seems to try and use the HDR mode quite a bit, there's a bit of artifacting. The images get soft in low light, and the zoom images sometimes are a bit soft as well. But again, I know Asus are working on a number of updates on this, so we should see some improvements. I also really like the fact that it came with a little case in the box. That's a nice touch, and also like all the extras that come with it in this as well. If you're listening to headphones on this, it's definitely got a user-friendly, consumer-friendly sound. It's got a bit of bass, and it works really well. Bluetooth headphones works well, just plugging in headphones here, and it was powering a number of headphones really well. I tried my Sennheiser Momentum in-ears, and they were fantastic, and also my new Force NE 800Ms, they really gave it a big punch. So if you like a bit of bass, but again, you've got the options to, in the custom audio FX settings, to tweak all that as well. And it's got a loud speaker as well. I mean, for £330 or $330, this is a really cracking piece of kit and great value. It will last you all day, it will last you into the second day, and you'll get into the third day. So, or if you're a very avid photographer, you can go out all day taking photos and still have room at the end of the day, and carry on. And I'm also joined by Fury again. Hello. So there we go. This is Gavin from gavinsgadgets.com. Catch you soon. I've got something really exciting coming up, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good day.